everybody, and welcome back to not episode 27 of Tyria Then, but rather bonus episode 1 of Tyria Then.
That's right.
Hello,
We're making
Miko.
bonus of these. Hi. We're making bonus episodes now, folks.
We are. Mainly when we forget to do something that we, can't skip,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we talked about on episode... We're doing this after episode 26 and before episode 27, so we've just finished Factions, and we're due to start Nightfall, next official episode. But we mentioned in... Miko rather brought up to me, because I completely forgot, that we didn't do the Master Togo bonus mission pack. And that... I can't stand for that.
No.
He's the main character.
Well, kind of, yes.
He's the main character in a way that I don't think Guild Wars Prophecies has a main character.
No, the gang doesn't.
Besides you,
well, I mean,
right? Besides you,
right,
because you're the Flame Seeker, right? But
right.
Factions has a named main character. And it's Master Togo, and Menlo's his sidekick, right?
Yes.
Rest in peace. I bet somebody there had an idea for a Menlo bonus mission pack, and it just didn't make the cut, right?
Menlo, I mean...
I guarantee
you can still do it. I want to know what happened with him and the Kurziks.
I guarantee you...
That would be great.
Oh, it would be a fly on the wall in, early... probably late 2005, when they're workshopping, whatever this is. If they're doing the bonus mission packs, maybe 2006, right? At some point in 2006, they're around the conference room table, and they're in the brainstorming stage. You know, somebody threw out Menlo for a bonus mission pack character.
Yeah, I bet you they've got that backstory all set up, and it's in their internal wiki.
I really
want to know. I really need to know.
You know, I've memed on this show about creating a document of the most pointless possible questions to ask an ArenaNet dev in an interview.
Yeah.
I really should compile that. If we ever get a dev on here, I want to have 25 of the lamest questions they've ever been asked about Guild Wars 1 just ready to go.
Okay.
But that's not why we're here today.
No.
We're here
for Togo.
Yes, this is kind of a celebration of life. Like a wake. Because the game doesn't do that for Togo.
No.
He dies, and then you finish the game, and a few people are like, yeah, that sucks that he died. But we don't really get into it.
No.
So that's what this is for, I think. This is to celebrate the life and memory of our dear friend, Master Togo. And we do that by playing his bonus mission pack. We've done a couple of these bonus mission packs before.
Yep.
We've done my boy Saul.
Saul, yes, and our friend from Nightfall.
Tyria Asa.
That's right.
And I'm still glad that we did that in the desert episodes rather than in the Nightfall campaign. Because I feel like Tyria Asa is more relevant to the desert campaign in Prophecies than to anything in Nightfall.
The fact that you have to go through him in order to learn how to ascend.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and that's not to say that he's not relevant to Nightfall, because his actions that you play in that bonus mission pack directly impact where the world state is in Nightfall. That we're going to delve into in future episodes. But this Togo's is more of a look back on why he's the head of the Xingje monastery and why he's this revered figure in Factions. This mission is called the Tengu Accords. We talked to Dermond, the historian, who gives out those fun little storybooks, and we ask him about Togo.
Now, before we start, did you do this on your Factions character?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so did I. So we had to get to Lion's Arch because we were Factions characters.
They have the Dermond is in every city.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I forgot to even look for him, and I was like, well, I'm going to have to find him. I'm going to have to go to LA.
Did you do the whole quest to go to LA?
I did.
All right. How is that? Tell me about that.
So it's literally you find Menlo on the what is that pier called? The Junkin Pier. The Junkin Pier.
We already discussed how I used to think that was a word meaning strewn with junk. right?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't
I
need.
mean, it may as well be. It's
It may as
freaking
well be.
Kryta.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not Kryta. It's Kaining City. So yeah. So we have to find Menlo on Bajunkin Pier, and he's like, "Hey, I appreciate everything that we've done, but I'm from Ascalon, and we're my people are now in Kryta, and we've got trouble back home. And we could really use your help. Meet me on the ship, and we'll go back when you're ready." And so you just basically walk over to the guy who's the person you're supposed to talk to. He's not even like the captain. He's just like some sailor. And he's like, "Hey, thanks for coming along to help my people. I'm sure you want to meet them because my people are cool, essentially. And the White Mantles suck. Come and help us." And you basically just zone in right outside of Lion's Arch.
It's gonna be wild being a factions character coming into the prophecy story at that
I've
particular
never
juncture.
actually done that, so this was actually kind of interesting.
You show up just like,
Um,
what the hell?
yeah, yeah. So it was actually kind of interesting because the gang are there, like Menlo, Sin, Aiden, and Devona all supposedly come back with you. Aiden's like, this is where I feel most at home, and I'm glad we're back. I'm meant to be here. Menlo's like, "Hey, thanks. I really know that we're going to be able to use your help." Sin is all, "It's a good thing I've got Menlo back here because I can keep an eye on him now." Which I
Yeah,
just thought was hilarious.
yes, and that gels with the all of the
Everything.
Sin content in
Yeah.
Cantha and prophecies. Honestly,
Yes.
that's Sin in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So
And
you
then
started this from Lion's Arch.
I did, yeah. And that was basically it. You basically talk to a lion guard to get access to the city, and that's it. That's your quest. So it's not like you had to fight your way in. You have to basically go and get permission to be there. But because Menlo's given you a good word or put in a good word for you, they let you in. And that's the backstory of how you get in. So that's how I got into Lion's Arch, to go and find Dermot, because I didn't think to look for him in Kaining City.
He is dressed fully Crichton, like he
I
is.
mean,
So you would assume that he's in Lion's Arch.
yeah, and it's stupid because you would have thought that I would have remembered to look for him there, but because I have run into him in other cities after you said that, and I remembered this as well, after you said it. But yes. But anyways, no, I did the whole go to Kryta thing, and so yes. I
All
now
right.
have access to Lion's Arch on my factions character. Woohoo!
And yet, I imagine this play session was still shorter for you than it was for me because this fucking mission took me 3 tries.
Yeah, it seemed like you had a bad time. You were not happy with it.
I was
when
a
you were...
sad, bad man while trying to do this mission. This mission's kind of hard if you don't like do your homework first, which I did not.
Right.
I also have not spent the factions campaign playing ritualists. So that was like foreign
What am I
to
doing
me,
here?
right?
Yeah.
No, that did not gel with me at all. I do not
Mhm.
dislike the ritualist, but I wasn't prepared, right?
Yeah.
So you chit chatted with our friend Dermond. He gave you the book. He gave you a staff too, right?
Yep.
You pop that on, and then you read the book to become Master Togo.
Yes.
And there's a few pages in the book. Did you find
There's
there's a word in the book that I did not know. I've learned a new word.
Oh, what word is that?
Can you guess which word it is?
No, I cannot.
Propitious.
Oh, propitious. That's a good word.
I did not know this. I did not know this word existed. I had to Google
Oh, yeah.
this. It means favorable or likely to succeed.
Yes.
Yeah, the book uses it to describe how Emperor Kisu feels about the peace talks.
Right.
He feels that they are a propitious opportunity, so he sends Togo to kind of seal the deal.
He is that deal sealer.
The deal sealer, as he's known. One of his many lauded
Many
titles.
monikers, yeah.
Yeah, he's the most interesting man in the world.
Pretty much.
So yeah, we can read through the book to get kind of the background, and basically Togo is the brother of the emperor. We know this. Kisu sends him to the estate of his minister of war, a guy named Minister Wona.
Yep.
to enter some peace talks, like a peace summit,
Yep.
with the Tengu tribes, who during this period, which is X, Y, and Z amount of years before the events of Guild Wars factions, not really sure how many,
Hmm.
the Dragon Empire of the Dragon or Dragon Empire.
The Dragon Empire, I think.
Okay.
But it might be Empire of the Dragon. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not
passive voice, active voice. What do you want?
the Canthan
The
Empire.
Canthan Empire.
The Canthan Empire. Nobody calls it that. Nobody calls it the Canthan Empire. Cantha is at war. The humans of Cantha, rather, are at war with the Tengu.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a pretty bad war. A lot of people are dying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of modeled off of the many clashes with indigenous peoples that kind of colonial peoples have had throughout our human history, right?
Mm-hmm.
So not fun stuff, if history is to be understood. So Togo the Tengu. Togo is sent to kind of chit chat with Minister Wona and the Tengu leaders to try and broker a peace arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we come in. So we click on the enter mission in the book, and we're Togo now.
We are Togo.
How'd you feel about that sound effect?
That sound effect?
Yeah, I could cut it.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm not gonna cut it.
No.
So how did you like? Tell me about your thoughts and feelings going into this.
So Togo is wearing a hat.
It's a dorky hat.
It is a very dorky. It looks like a Tyrian chef's hat.
He looks like a nerd.
He does. He does. He's got different armor on. And he does look slightly younger.
And it's not a great color.
No, it's like that kind of beige.
Bring colorful Togo back.
No, this is not color for Togo yet.
No, he looks like he should have a clipboard with him.
Yeah, probably.
Looks like he's with OSHA.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Some sort of inspector.
What I really liked was the scenery for Minister Wona's estate. Very snowy, very reminiscent of some of like the snow-peaked areas up in Xingye Island.
Did you check it out because the NPCs encourage you to check out the view?
Yes.
So did I.
Totally roleplayed. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. They did. They were like, "Oh, look at this view," and I was like, "Don't mind if I do."
Yeah. It was very pretty.
Yeah, it's a great vista.
Yeah. And Minister Wona has a very impressive estate. So you're like, I'm immediately thinking, all right, Minister of War, you're doing pretty dang well for yourself here. Because you've got masses of acreage and lots of impressive buildings.
An entire army of NPCs. Like,
yeah.
They really went bananas with the amount of NPCs that like show up in this mission.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And we got to kind of ascend the steps to the, I don't want to call it a courtyard, but like the lobby.
Yeah, it's sort of a gathering hall.
Yeah.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a word for this room. An atrium? Is this an atrium?
I don't know.
The foyer.
Perhaps?
The foyer.
The foyer.
I'm just gonna keep throwing rooms out until you take one.
Okay, sure. But the most colorful thing in this room is the carpet. Did you notice the carpet?
Is it carpeted? I thought it was a stone floor.
I mean, there was sort of a carpet with like some Tengu on it, birds, dragons. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I did take a screen cap of it, and of course I'm on the wrong computer, so I can't send it to you, but I'll send it to you later.
Okay, so there's like a tapestry rug.
Yeah, yes, that is a very good way to describe it. It is a tapestry rug.
I did not see this. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's very, very pretty.
Well, you said there were Tengu on the rug. I was like, well, yeah, they're standing on it.
Yes. Yeah, and I thought, oh, okay, Minister Wona, you've not rolled out the red carpet. You've rolled out a colorful rug with birds on it. All right, cool. I see what you're doing here, maybe?
Kind of going overboard a little bit, like really pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, maybe. But we meet the two factions of Tengu that we meet are the Angchu, who are represented by Talon Silverwing and Soar Honorclaw, who we did meet.
Is it Swift Honorclaw or Soar Honorclaw?
It's Soar is what I wrote down.
Is it? I think I have Swift Honorclaw written down. Did I typo it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Swift Honorclaw. It's Swift Honorclaw. He's in the Tengu Accords mission.
Well, I could have sworn that Soar was one that I was defending.
Soar Honorclaw is Swift Honorclaw's daughter. I believe Swift Honorclaw is the guy that I murdered with Pinaku.
I remember. Yes, I remember.
I love how many things are tied into that stupid quest.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so anyways, so Swift, Soar, one of the Honor Claws.
Mr. Honorclaw.
Mr. Honorclaw. The two of them are there representing the Angchu and Gull Hookbeak?
Yes.
Gull Hookbeak representing the Sensali are there.
And there's a lot of... This is my favorite part of the mission. A, because you can't die here.
No, yes.
B, because there's a lot of really interesting, well-written dialogue here.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to interact with all of the... Well, you get to interact with the named Tengu NPCs.
There is ambient dialogue, but there was so much
also, yeah.
like targeted dialogue to read that I didn't get a lot of the ambient dialogue.
No, yeah.
Did you talk to everybody?
I talked to all of the Tengu, and they don't trust Togo at all because he's a human. They're like, I don't care who the Emperor says you are, you're a human, your people have killed us, don't trust you.
Yeah, they're initially... So both factions, because the Sensali Tengu are the hostile Tengu that we run into in, like, the Xingje area.
Yep.
And then the Angchu are the ones that we kind of work with and have a village, the Eri, that we can kind of go to and, like, hang out, right? Mm-hmm. In this particular instance, they're both pretty anti-human. Like,
oh, yeah, for sure.
They're both kind of... The Sensali, when you talk to Gull Hookbeak, he gives you the impression that he's the less reasonable of the two chieftains there.
Yeah, definitely.
Talon does not have a ton to say. Gull Hookbeak does not have a ton to say. Swift Honorclaw has a lot to say.
Yeah.
He has some cool lines. When we ask him what he thinks of the Tengu Wars, he says that if the peace accords today fail, quote, human corpses will be stacked to the tops of mountains.
Yeah.
That's a badass line.
And really, he's very descriptive.
That's sad. He is. He uses the term expansionist agenda to describe Kisu's empire.
Yeah.
And Wona backs this up when we talk to Wona. Wona's like, all we want to do is expand our empire. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah.
So the humans are pretty clearly in the wrong here.
Yeah, and did you talk to, like, Wona before you started the mission?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and he does not care for the Tengu at all. If it was up to him, he would have exterminated them. That's literally what he said. Did
you write down what he calls the Tengu?
No, I didn't write it down.
He says, quote, that the Tengu are filthy animals not fit for a stew.
Yes.
There's a lot of really good writing
here.
Really
good writing, yeah.
Yeah, this is juicy stuff. Swift Honorclaw refers to... Because he refers to the humans taking up their space to make their farms. And he refers to their crops as their reeking crops. Yeah. This could be a whole bunch of stuff, right? It could be fertilizer that's smelly. Right? It could be like rotting, moldering fruit. Maybe the livestock smelly, right? Maybe Tengu canonically hate fruits and vegetables. I don't know. But that's an interesting detail. And Swift Honorclaw also mentions some war crimes that the Canthan Empire has committed. He says that they burned their hatchlings in their sleep.
Yeah.
And they slaughtered their child bearers.
Right. Yes. So there's been some horrible things done by the humans against the Tengu.
And the Minister Wona doesn't have a similar list for comparison. Like he can't list anything the Tengu have done wrong, giving us the impression that more or less all the Tengu are doing here is defending themselves. So kind of instantly, the writing of the story leans us in the direction that the Tengu are probably in the right,
Mm-hmm.
and the Canthan Empire is probably in the wrong here.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and so you start talking to the Tengu as Minister Wona like walks down the aisle, to
Yep.
you, and this dude looks evil as shit.
Yeah, he does.
This guy looks like fucking Darth Vader, like just pure evil.
Yeah, he's definitely it's very stereotypically depicted for the villain.
Yeah, like if you were wondering in this mission if you truly did not know how this was going to go, one look at this guy reveals
And you're like,
the plot twist to you.
yeah, yeah.
Luckily, I'll put a picture of him. I can't even describe. He's got like a really tall hat that only a dictator would wear, right?
Of course.
He looks kind of like did you watch that new set of Dune movies that came out a couple
No,
years ago?
I
Looks
did
like the
not.
Emperor in the Dune
Yeah,
movies. Just evil as all hell.
yeah,
And luckily they don't waste a lot of time in revealing that plot twist to us that he's the bad guy, because it would be insulting to the player, I think, to present him visually like that and then try to really string you along with the reveal that he's the
yeah,
bad guy. So yeah,
yeah. Pretty quickly, he turns on the Tengu and basically has his guards attack you and them.
his dialogue is so funny. He's you ask him what he thinks of the Tengu, and he's like, they're filthy animals not fit for a stew. I'd have them all slaughtered if I could. And then
Yeah,
literally the next paragraph he's like, but you know what? In tough
violence isn't all.
times, we have to
Yeah,
band together and look for peace and the good in the world.
right.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
And his peace talk, like, because it does like not a cutscene, but that blurb dialogue that the game does to tell you that like a plot significant conversation is occurring.
hmm
And he doesn't even try.
No, gosh, no, no. No, he's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ask for your undivided attention, and here we are together after careful deliberation. There can be no peace, and then he's like, you must all die. Bring me Togo's corpse, and I'm like, whoa,
I like how he's
that escalated very
immediately out.
quickly.
He's immediately out for Togo.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he already knows. He doesn't like try to see if Togo will take his side. He's just immediately like, that man's got to go.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, he says like, it's really funny the way they wrote it. He's like, so we're all like, we be gathered here today, right, to discuss
yes,
coming to peace terms. Unfortunately, I've decided that there can be no peace.
right. That's literally what he says. Yep.
It's great. Like the middle manager speak is fantastic. So yeah, and then everyone in the room goes hostile and he runs away and the game of cat and mouse begins.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This first fight is not that hard because you have a lot of allies.
Yes, you've got a lot of allies, and basically the objective here is to let Togo's rage bar build up. And I'm like, bruh, we need to be building this rage a little bit more quickly. But I will say this, the slowness of the rage building goes with the slowness of his ritualist animations.
Yeah, this is something I wanted to ask you about and why I was interested in getting your take on this mission, because you just played all of Factions as a ritualist.
Yeah.
Tell me your feelings.
I wanted Togo to actually like get the job done much more quickly, because you would hit his binding ritual spells, and if you're doing on a regular ritualist character, they're quick. They're like, oh, I'm gonna lean backwards, boom, here are my spirits. But no, not Togo. Togo's casting times are freaking forever, and I'm like, bruh, you're supposed to be Master Togo, the guy who taught us.
The man
You're
who
already called Master.
wrote
Yeah.
the book on being a ritualist. Yeah.
Yes, and you're already being called Master Togo. You're not just Togo. You're not, hey, student Togo, brother of the Emperor Togo. No, you're Master Togo. Why aren't you mastering the speed of casting your own damn skills?
He's actually he's experimenting with the Revenant class. He's channeling Yijo Tan,
Oh Lord.
who at this point I don't think is even born yet.
No, probably not.
Yeah, he has it because you've just been playing the whole game with Signet of Spirits, which is an instant cast 3 spirits.
Yeah,
Right?
and he's got a similar instant cast 3 spirits, and it takes forever.
Yeah, it's not an instant cast. It's like a 3 or
No.
4 second channel.
Yes, and I'm like, come on. And I don't know what the devs were thinking with giving him such slow casting times, but it was really annoying.
Yeah, and I of course have been playing I have not played a spellcaster this entire show, right?
Yeah.
I also did not read the wiki for advice on how to do this before I just jumped into it. And so I kind of like it's like jumping in the pool in the deep end and
Yeah.
you haven't finished your swimming lessons yet, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I was floundering starting out this mission. I kind of had to read through his skills and figure out how I wanted. I switched him around on my skill bar for my first run at this, to try and get like a rotation going. And it turns out when you restart the mission, it resets the skill order, so I couldn't be bothered to do that on my next few tries.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like a really long channel spirit skill, and then he's got like an elite skill that gives you energy. He's got an attack skill that gives him energy. He's got Spirit Rift, which takes forever to do anything.
Yeah. It's not a very good heal skill. And the elite also makes you immune from losing health, although you sacrifice some blood, which I thought that was interesting.
I think you might have either you or I have misunderstood this skill, because what I believe this skill does is you gain energy, you use it to gain energy, and you sacrifice health to do so. If you're within range of the spirit, you don't take the health sacrifice to regain your energy.
Right. So I always tried to keep my spirits close so that I wouldn't sacrifice health.
Yeah, that's how I understood it. Enemies can still damage you. Which I found out because I died twice trying to do this. But you are so you have 3 allies. You're with our boy Talon, Swift Honorclaw, and Gull Hookbeak for this initial. And there's like a couple waves. The enemies are like, they're just called like assassin or like house guard.
The guards. The guards and the assassins are the 2 main enemy types.
And the guards are level 10 or 20?
It's 10, I want to say.
Because the assassins are level 15, and the guards die to the rage skill instantly. The assassins do not. Right, yeah.
So you kind of have to, like, you can drop it on them and it will take a chunk of their health, but you have to do some other stuff as well.
Did you notice that in the clumps of assassins specifically, you'd clump them and then you run up and use the rage skill? One of them would always somehow have a full health bar after doing that. Yeah. Yes, I noticed that too, and I was like, what the heck?
So it must be capped at how many enemies that it'll...
No, it's not, because I took out all 30 of those house guards in that hallway in one bang.
Well, what the heck? What are they trying to say? That an assassin shadow stepped away?
I think that the assassins have some like divine intervention health safeguard skill of some sort. Because there's always one hanging out with a full skill bar after I pop that shit. But that's what the filling up the rage bar in the initial fight does, is it grants you access to your final skill on your bar, which is just an AoE big fuck off damage burst.
It's called Dragon Empire Rage.
Yeah, and it's not the elite skill, which is interesting.
No, I know. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I found it really difficult to kind of get used to this. By my 3rd run, I had it down. Like, I was the master of this mission by my 3rd run. But my first one was rough. My second one was rough. You kind of get past that initial fight, and then you're like, I'll chase Togo down because I'm the player character, and then you guys wait here to make sure he doesn't escape. Or not chase Togo down, chase Wona down. I'm Togo.
Down. Yes.
And they're like, Talon Silverwing's gonna head out with you because we have to make sure you keep your word, right? Which makes sense. Like, I wouldn't trust me either if I were them.
No,
right?
Yeah. And I like what Talon's like. I'll be watching you. Any misstep and it'll be your head that I'm going to bring back. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
You might want to call him Talon Silver Sting.
I guess.
Do you think the younger viewers will get that?
No.
Okay, I'll let him look it up.
The thing that got me in this initial um portion, Act 1, right, of this mission,
The acts are
is
so like arbitrarily divided up.
I know. It was that you could lose all of the Tengu and it literally doesn't matter.
Oh, they all pop up. Yeah. Or
They all
the main
res
named
themselves.
the main named,
The named
ones
ones, yeah.
pop up. Yeah. Oh, Talon
Which-
Silverwing died every encounter pretty much.
Oh yeah, same. Talon, I lost all of them at one point in the first act.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh no, it's game over. And then I was like, okay, mission's not over. I'm just gonna keep fighting. Oh, look, they're back. And I was like, well, thank you, ArenaNet, because it was really annoying to have lost some of my other people. But although this is not a new mechanic for the bonus missions, you can lose your allies in the other ones. They will respawn. But I didn't think that the named ones would be able to respawn and you could just keep going.
No, they just insta-res as soon as enemies are dead. It's great.
It's great. Yeah.
Talon is just my portable meat shield. It's fantastic.
Pretty much. Yep.
I did lose him pretty much every encounter for the first 2 runs. For the third run, I adopted a strategy of healing Talon fairly frequently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in fact, Talon basically I used Talon to kill the final boss himself while I healed him. Is how I did that.
There you go. Channeling your old monk skills.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all I know how to do. We basically traipsed through Wona's estate, killing his like lower tier minions, who are labeled assassin and guard. There's a point on a bridge where like 40 of them run at you, and you just click your Dragon Empire skill and it's over.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, that dragon skill is pretty good.
Yeah, it exists for the sole purpose of clearing trash. It's fantastic. And then you get to like the fun part of the mission where there's like a series of bosses and it gets really goofy.
It's very goofy. It's great. You basically, the first one that you meet is called Yuri the Hand, and you walk in and he's surrounded by essentially students, and he's like, greetings, I'm the Minister of War's instrument. And I'm like, he literally looks like the guy that you had to go and ascend with from within Factions campaign, whose name I've forgotten, and whose what was it that we decided it was? Like a telescope so that he could watch the stars. That was what
Soon.
our viewers
Soon.
Soon, yes, Soon. Yes, that's his name.
The next guy looks like Soon. So the ritualist guy looks like Soon. The assassin
Oh,
guy.
Master Rio. Yeah, you're right. He looks like a skeleton.
The assassin guy.
He looks like Skeletor from He-Man. Now there, ladies and gentlemen, you can go and Google that.
I think everybody knows who Skeletor is.
I would hope so.
Because there's that gif of him shaking his fists that everybody's used on Twitter.
Everybody's used it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first guy kind of does. And he's like corny. He's like, I'll have an easy time with you, right?
Yeah, I'll make this quick.
Yeah, and it turns out he's very easy. Any one-on-one fight is very easy.
Yeah.
It only gets difficult when there's a bunch of people that you have to deal with. Just because with the way these skills are set up, there's not a lot of margin for error in how you execute these fights. At least that's what I found. There was a point where I was like Benny Hill running away from like 40 guards, waiting for my Dragon Empire skill to recharge. Yeah. So you kind of have to be precise in the group fights, but the one-on-one fights, you just pop your spirits, and then Talon attacks, and you heal Talon and hit your little ritualist attack skills that do kind of dinky damage.
But what really makes these little bosses goofy is that they get their own little cutscene before you start fighting them, right? With an extreme close-up. And it says their name, what they're known as, their age, their profession, and their credo.
Yeah, I expected like their blood type to show up on here, and like school student council vice president, right? I expected like anime stats to start showing up.
Yeah. And
It's
then they get this cool like pan flute kung fu movie style music.
it's extremely kung fu pilled.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's very funny. Yeah, because it like zooms in on them, shows you their stats, right? All their facts about them, and it's great. There are 3 of these guys.
There's 4.
4. Because
there's 4 with the Wona at the end.
Yeah, before Wona there's 3, and then Wona is
There's
the 4th.
3.
Yeah, there's Yuri the Hand, who is an assassin. There's Not Soon, who is a ritualist.
Not Soon, yeah, Master Rio.
Yeah, that's the one. And there is Captain, I don't know her name.
Sunpoo.
There you go. Who is a Hammer Warrior girl. And Togo has like corny Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners.
100%, which is so Togo.
Because Yuri, like, he makes some remark about not needing a lot of time to finish Togo, and then afterwards Togo's like, you were right about one thing, it was a short fight, right? Like 1980s action movie one-liner.
But Talon starts to get impressed by Togo's humor.
Yeah, they banter throughout. Talon gains some respect for Togo. Like he's impressed that Togo's like such a badass, but so like nonchalant about it. He's basically like, damn, bro, after every time he kills someone. It's great. It's very good stuff. Yeah, no, I really, so despite the fact that I was pretty grouchy while playing this, I do think it's very good. I quite liked it in retrospect, but man, I was grouchy while I was playing this.
Yeah, you were.
Because the first part I died at was, I want to say I didn't even make it to Yuri the Hand on my first one. I died to like one of the assassin groups. My second one, I made it all the way to the end. I got Minister Wona down to literally like 10 HP. And did you experience this, that your air damage skills just don't damage him very much?
No, because I did this in one go. This whole mission, it only took me one time.
Yeah.
But I was like casting my spirit. I was doing basically what I had been doing throughout factions. I was casting my spirits, making sure that Talon didn't die. And if he did die, going up crappily, try to back away, heal myself a little bit if I could. If not, just try to get out of the enemy's range.
Okay, so you're running.
Cast some more spirits.
You're like retreating when Talon dies. That was my big mistake. Was Talon would die and I would just be like, well, I guess we're fighting, right?
Well, and you kind of got that. You've just been playing through as an assassin.
Yeah,
I can see where you're like, all right, well, I'll just keep going like melee style, and it's like, no, my
answer to everything is, well, more damage, right?
Right.
And that's not necessarily the key here.
No.
So the way I finally beat it was keeping Talon alive while he tanked the boss. Keeping my spirits active, because they do 30 damage each, armor ignoring, right? So they're great. My shock damage skills do nothing, so I just don't even use those. I just heal.
They'll do something. I mean, but not as much as the spirits.
Yeah, I just heal Talon and have my spirits and Talon wail on the boss, and they manage to kill him pretty easily.
And Wona himself is an earth elementalist, and he's got one particular skill that can, I don't think it's a knockdown, but it could do a good chunk of your damage.
Yeah, something chunked me at some point.
I think it's shockwave.
Yeah, something like that. But he basically reveal like his dialogue while you're fighting him is, or like right before you fight him maybe. He basically gives his maniacal villain monologue.
Of course.
And he's like, of course I want the war with the Tengu to continue because it makes me rich.
Pretty much, yeah. He's like, I'm the Minister of War.
I'm the Minister of Money. He's basically like the Secretary of Defense, and he's in bed with like Lockheed Martin, right? It's the stupidest shit ever.
Right.
not in like a I don't think it's badly written. I just think it's like a little corny.
Oh yeah.
Because it's always just like, oh, why am I doing this, you might ask? Well, I'm going to be incredibly rich. Right.
Well, I mean, he does have that very impressive estate.
He
He had
does,
to
yeah.
get it somehow.
Yeah, and I like that you brought up at the beginning how illustrious his pad
yeah.
seemed, because yeah, it turns out he's a war profiteer.
Oh, 100%.
Just in case like your moral compass needed something more to point at. After we heard about the burning of children in their sleep.
Right.
So yeah, I did manage to finally finish it on the third attempt, and there's a cutscene that basically just like there's like some narration. I think there's narration.
Yes, there's narration.
Yeah, it's like a guy with like a deep voice. It's kind of
nice. German.
Yeah. It is. I like the voice actor. It's like good rumbly, very. It's great. Good narration, and they're basically like, and Togo's actions unified the Tengu, except for the Sensali, who are still dicks.
Pretty much. What cracked me up though is that when the Sensali like march off for like all angry still, Talon looks at Togo and is just like shrug.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, really? Shrug emote? Okay.
He's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, pretty much.
You can't win them all. Yeah, so this is a good mission. I like this.
I liked it.
I really like the beginning with all the kind of input from the Tengu. It's really good. I like that Minister Wona is a cartoon like cigar chomping corporate businessman. That's very funny.
I like the whole kung fu.
Yeah, the goofy kung fu stuff is very fun. And it's good. Everybody should play all of these bonus mission pack missions. They're all awesome. They're some of the best like one-off content in the game, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the whole mission though. It's not super long. I'd say on my third attempt I banged it out in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Maybe even less. You got to wait for some dialogue to roll at certain points. Yeah. I did think it was funny because you mentioned the acts. So big banner shows up like Act 1, Act 2 on the screen as you go through. But it's a 5-act affair and it's very short. Or it might be 3, but I think it's 5. I don't know.
It's 5.
It's 5.
It's very much laid out like, you know, a Greek tragedy in this sense, you know, or even like a Shakespearean tragedy. Like, you know, there's 5 acts. It's got to be like a 5-act play.
Except it's like a 10-minute mission, so they're going so fast. It's like Act 1 and Act 2, Act 3, Act 4. You're like, it's showing up as Act 3 before the dialogue is finished rolling. It's great.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty goofy. And it gives some really good context as to why people think Togo's such a cool guy, right?
Yes.
He basically walked in there, tore shit up, and then walked out like cool guys don't look at explosions, right?
Right, exactly.
So yeah, that's what we had to do. We had to play that for Master Togo because he kind of held it down.
He did, and he sacrificed himself for the good of the Canthan Empire.
Yeah, Togo was a real one. This has been bonus episode 1. There may be more of these depending on what we forget to do in the future. So what we're going to go do now is talk about Nightfall. So we will see you guys whenever that comes out. Later, everybody.
Bye.